Today we are going to start with a topic that is charges, that is in the chapter that is electricity. So in the concept of charges, the first thing that we have to know is the concept that we are dealing with, that is charge. Okay, so we have to first know that what is charge. Early men knew that when umber was rubbed, then it acquires the property to attract some tiny bits of paper or some dry grasses. So they said that this umber is got electrified. In Greek, we say that this umber is electron, that is Elektron, and from this electron, the electricity, the term that is the electricity, got its name. And as we know that charges are the physical quantities, these are those physical quantities which when brought near any other object, then it experiences a force. If it experiences a force, then as we know that there are two types of charges, the positive charge and the negative charge. And we know about the positive and the negative charges that if we brought two charges, that is either positive, then it will repel each other. If we brought two charges that is negative, then it will repel each other. And if unlike charges, that is either the positive and the negative charges are come towards each other, then they will attract each other. So in that concept, we know that like charges repel each other and the unlike charges attract each other. So the term that is the charge is that physical quantity which brought near any other object, then it experiences a force. In that concept, we have some introduction of experiments that how can be the object get charged. We have three methods of charging. The methods of charging are the charging by friction, the charging by conduction, and the charging by induction. In the concept that is charging by friction, we know about that when glass rod is when the glass rod is rubbed with the silk cloth, then the glass rod acquires the positive charge and the silk cloth acquires the negative charge. Similarly, when the ebonite rod is rubbed with with fur or flannel, then we know that ebonite rod gets negative charged and the fur or the flannel acquires the positive charges. When in this experiment, when we brought the charged glass rod near the charged ebonite rod, then they will attract each other. But when we take the two objects, that is either the glass rod and the flannel towards each other, then they will repel each other because they both have the positive charges. The next thing that we have to know is the second method of charging, that is the charging by conduction. In the concept of charging by conduction, we brought a charged object near the uncharged object and having a physical contact with each other. And we have a physical contact, and thereby we will see that the charges are transferred from the charged object to the uncharged one. Suppose that we have an uncharged object, and as we know that who can be called as an uncharged object? Then an object or an atom having equal amount of protons and neutrons are said to be uncharged object or the uncharged atom. It means that suppose that we have a sodium atom, then in case of sodium atom we have 11 electrons as well as 11 protons. 11 electrons and 11 protons are stable with each other, and that's why we say that this sodium atom is uncharged. Okay, this sodium atom is uncharged atom. So if we brought an uncharged body with the charged body, suppose that we have a charged body like the glass rod and we have an uncharged body or an atom, As we know that an uncharged body have equivalent amount of positive charges as that of the negative charges. But in the case of charged object, we have only either the positive charge or the negative charge. We are keeping that glass rod near the uncharged object, that is the uncharged body, and we have a physical contact with each other. We are physically touched. Okay, we had physically touched that glass rod with the uncharged body. In this case, the positive charge that is present in the glass rod will get transferred to that uncharged body. If it is seen, then we are saying that this is the method, that is the charging by conduction. The next method is the charging by induction. In the case of charging by induction, we are keeping two objects, that is the first one is the charged object and the second one is the uncharged object. In this case, we are devising a method in which we can say that charged object will not physically touched with the uncharged object, that there will be some separation between the charged object and the uncharged one. So if we brought that charged object near the uncharged object but not in physical contact with each other, then we will see that the charges that are present, the extra amount of charges that are present in the uncharged object will get separated out. Further, we will ask that object, that is the uncharged one, because as we know that it is the earth which gains or loses the charges. Okay, so the extra amount of charges that are present inside the uncharged body will get separated out, and further it will transfer to the earth. And we will see that if we brought the glass rod with that of the uncharged object, then we will see that the uncharged object will acquire a negative charge, and if we take an uncharged object, that the uncharged object will acquire the positive charge. This is the case that we see in the case of methods of charging. So we have three methods of charging, that is the charging by conduction, the charging by induction. In the case of charging by induction,